So by the end of this video, what you'll be able to do is create simple shapes in Adobe Illustrator. You'll be able to transform those shapes, edit those shapes. You'll be able to apply a fill background color to those shapes, and you'll also be able to outline those shapes and be able to customize that border. And all of that is guaranteed if you watch to the end of this video. Cool, so I have Adobe Illustrator open here, and hopefully you've also got Adobe Illustrator open so you can follow along with this tutorial. What we're going to do is start off by actually creating a shape. So what we have in Illustrator is the shape tool, although it's never actually mentioned as the shape tool. So as you can see on the infographic here, it's currently known as the rectangle tool. And that's because I currently got the rectangles tool selected. So if I just quickly hold my left mouse button on that, what it'll do is create a window with all of the tools available. We're not going to cover the flare tool in this video. It's not really a shape tool, so we don't really need to know it at this stage. But as you can see, we've got a whole load of different options. So we've got the rectangle tool, the rounded rectangle tool, which you can also actually achieve by just using the rectangle tool. The ellipse tool, which allows you to draw circles and ellipses. Polygons, which obviously allows you to create triangles and other polygonal shapes. And then we've also got the star tool, which, as it says, can create stars. So what we're going to do is just select the rectangle tool to start off with. Just like in Photoshop, by the way, all of the shortcuts are on the right hand side. So the shortcut to this is the character M on your keyboard, and that's both for Windows and Mac. So with the rectangle tool selected, there's two different ways you can actually create your shape. The first way is if you just press anywhere on your artboard once. As you can see, this window appears, which is the rectangle window. And the options in here will obviously vary depending on which shape tool you have selected. So here we can actually specify the width and height of the rectangle that we want to create. So at the moment, this document is in pixels. So what I'm going to do is create a square. And a square obviously has the same width and height. So I'll set the width to 600 pixels, and then I'll also set the height to 600 pixels, and then press OK. And as you can see, this creates our shape right here. Now, the other way you can actually create this rectangle is if I quickly undo that by pressing Command and Z on my keyboard, or Ctrl and Z for Windows. What you can do is just hold and drag using your cursor. And this, as you can see, allows you to freely draw a rectangle to any shape that you want. If you want to be able to create a square, all you have to do is hold Shift on your keyboard, and this will actually keep it as a regular square. So once you're happy with your shape, just let go once, and as you can see, this draws your shape. Now, if you want to actually be able to center your shape to your artboard, what you can do is you can go to the Properties panel on the right-hand side here, go to Align, and then what we'll do is we'll align it horizontally to the center, and then also vertically, which is this symbol here. As you can see, our shape is now in the center of our artboard. So a great place to start off with is actually knowing what the components are of our shapes. So like with any shapes, what we have are three different areas. We have our points, our edges, and then we also have the face, which is the central part. Now in Illustrator, they're known by slightly different names. So the points on the ends are called anchors. So as you can see, if I go to this bottom one here, you can see the word anchor. We've then got the paths, which form the edges, which basically connect our anchors together. And then we've also got the fill, which is the face on the inside of our shape. And basically what all of these dots and symbols allow us to do is customize our shapes in different ways. So for example, what we have here is the center point. And as you can see, the cursor changes once I've hovered over that point. And this basically, if I hold and drag, allows me to move my shape. And another important thing about the center point is it actually is where the shape is always aligned to. So for example, when we were aligning the shape just a minute ago, we were aligning it to the X and Y axis. And as you can see, it's right in the middle here. If you want to be able to see the coordinates of our shape or the dimensions or rotation more specifically, just go to the Properties panel and it will be under Transform here. Now the other dots we've also got are these ones on the edges of our shape. So as you can see, we've got 4 on the edge, on the paths themselves, and then we've got 1 for each anchor or the points on the edge of our shape. So if we hold and drag on any of these, it will actually allow us to customize and transform our shape in these directions. So I can manipulate it in the X and Y dimensions. I can also go to these anchor points on the edges and actually manipulate it in both ways. If I hold Shift, it'll actually remember the last shape that we had. So it's not quite that square shape that we had at the start. And then obviously when I let go, it confirms those choices. I'll just quickly press Command and Z to undo that and get our square back. Then we've also got these 4 dots just next to our anchors, which are slightly closer to our center point. And if we hold and hover over these are basically allow us to apply a rounded edge to our shape until we go right to the center where we obviously form a circle. And these options will always be there so you can actually manipulate it on either side. So that's a nice and quick way to actually create that rounded rectangle, which the other tool allows you to do. Now I'm just going to quickly drag those back to the end because I actually want a full square. Now the last way we can actually manipulate our square is actually by rotation. So what we can do is we can move our cursor just slightly further out of our square until it forms this kind of curved arrow shape. And if you then hold and drag, you can actually rotate your square in any direction. So you can do a full 360 or you can go the other way, for example. I'm just going to quickly press Command and Z to undo that. So all of these also apply to the other shapes that we have in our shape tool. So let's go ahead and actually create a different shape. So I'm going to press backspace in order to delete that. And then I'm going to go back to the shapes and let's go for the Polygon tool. So with that selected, what I'm going to do is just press anyone on the artboard once. And then as you can see, we have the polygon window. Obviously polygons are made of multiple sides. So the lowest we can go is 3. And if I press OK, that creates a triangle. So this is how you create triangles easily in Illustrator. As you can see, all of these options are still here. We can actually also apply the rounded edges to our triangle. Now, if I just press anywhere once again, we can also create another shape such as a pentagon by pressing in 5. As you can see, this creates a pentagon. I can create a hexagon, which is 6-sided, and so forth. I can keep going up, octagon, and all the other options that you might need. What you can also do if you really want is press once and type in 4 in order to create a square. So that's another way of creating a square. I'm not quite sure why you'd want to do it that way and not use the rectangle tool, but hey, that's an option if you want it. So if you want to go back and actually select one of the other shapes that you'd already created, what you can do is use the selection tool in the top left-hand corner here. And as you can see, the shortcut to that is V for both Windows and Mac. So for example, I can select our triangle. I'm going to quickly delete this one. I'm also going to quickly delete the square, and I'm quickly going to delete the hexagon. I'm then going to select the pentagon, so I can just hold and drag over that, or I can select it. But if you have multiple shapes, it's easy to hold and drag and actually select multiple shapes. I'm then going to go to the right and quickly align that to the center so we can continue by manipulating that. Now, what if we want to actually be able to customize our shape a bit more? For example, we don't actually want it to be a hexagon. We want to actually move this point and move it further out. Well, what we can do is use the direct selection tool. And this tool is very easy to find. It's just to the right of the selection tool. So here we had the selection tool, and here is the direct selection tool. And as you can see on the infographic, the shortcut to that is A. So just by selecting that, as you can see, our shape is now selected slightly differently. At the moment, all of the points are selected because they're all a dark blue color. If I quickly press anywhere off the pentagon and actually go ahead and select one of the anchor points. So I believe we wanted to control this one here. If I quickly press on that anchor, as you can see, these other ones are white, whilst this one is blue. So I can now actually go ahead and manipulate this anchor. So if I just hold and drag on that, as you can see, I can now move it in any direction I want. And I can do this for any of the points that we actually have in our shape. So I can go ahead and create any random shape that I might want. I can also cross over and create other shapes. So this allows you to freely transform and actually create any cool shape that you might need. Now this does vary slightly if you have curved paths. So I'm going to show you that by creating a circle quickly. If you want to be able to select all of the points, just hold and drag like we did with the selection tool, and let's backspace that. Cool, so let's go to the ellipse tool, which is how we can draw circles. So unlike the rectangle tool, the shortcut is slightly different. It's L for the ellipse tool. And then what I can do is just hold and drag out a circle. And obviously if I wanted to stay a regular circle, I can just hold Shift on my keyboard once again. Cool, and if I just quickly go to the direct selection tool, just like we learned earlier using the shortcut A. And now quickly press off and then press on this anchor here. As you can see, it looks slightly different. And this is because our paths are curved. So obviously we had the anchor and the other anchor here. We have a path which connects to the two, but instead of going directly between the 2 points, it's now slightly curved. And this is because we have these handles here. So these points are all called handles. These other points also have those handles. They're just not previewed at the moment because I haven't got those selected. But I'm just going to go to the right-hand side here. So in order to manipulate the curve, what we can do is hold and drag on that handle. And as you can see, we can actually extend it. We can move it any direction that we want. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that when I actually control this handle here, it also controls this handle here. But what if I want to keep this curve the same and I actually want to be able to manipulate this one? Well, what I can do is hold Option on my keyboard and then actually hold and drag this handle. By the way, that's Alt if you're on Windows. So this allows me to actually control all of these independently and create any kind of shape that I might need. Like so. I'm going to quickly go back so we can see our artboard. Cool, so that's how we can easily transform and edit our shape. But what if we want to be able to fill in our shape? Well, what we're going to do is we might as well use the last shape that we haven't covered yet, which is the star tool. So if we go to the left-hand toolbar, let's go to the star tool. And then what we're going to do is just press once. I can hold and drag it out, but I want to actually show you how you can actually specify the amount of points the star has. So as you can see at the moment, we've got 5. So we're going to create a star with 5 points, but you can change this number to whatever you want. I'm actually quite happy with 5, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Cool, so we have our star, and let's see how we can actually fill this in with a color and apply an outline to our shape. And this is the same for all of the other shapes that we created. I'm just using the star because why not? Cool, so there's 2 places from which we can actually control the color. We can use this box at the top here in the left-hand corner, or we can go to Properties on the right and go to Fill. So I'm going to use the Fill option for now. So all we have to do to change the color is press on this box here. Mine's white, but it will be whatever color your shape is currently filled in with. Just pressing on that, as you can see, we get a whole range of different swatches that we can use. So I can select any of these to change the color of my star. So as you can see, I can change it to brown, pink, red, whatever I need. I can also use these textures here. So that's pretty cool if you want that, or a gradient from this point here. If you don't want to apply any color or anything to your shape, what you can do is select this none option at the top here. And this will actually remove all of the color from that shape. If you want to be a bit more specific with the color, so you don't actually have to rely on any of these swatches, just go to this color mixer here. And as you can see, what you can do is just pick any color that you want within this range and use that as the color for your star. I'm going to quickly go back to swatches, and actually let's leave the green color that we have. Why not? What I'm going to do is quickly close this window just by pressing off it. So the next option that we have is to apply a stroke, and a stroke is basically the outline on border of your shape. So this will actually follow the anchors and the paths of our shape. So the fill is everything within the inside of our shape. The stroke is the border. So in order to apply a stroke, what we first need to do is apply a color. And as you can see, it's currently set to black. If I press on that once, you can also choose no stroke if you don't want to do that. We have all of the swatches here in a slightly different format to what we had previously, but we can also go to color mixer once again and actually select any color that we want. So for example, let's go for this light red option here. Cool. So what we can now do is actually adjust the weight of our stroke. And this basically refers to the width or the thickness of our stroke. So at the moment it's set to 1 pt, and that's why we can hardly see it. But if we just increase this value by pressing this here, or actually you can actually type something in. So let's go to 50, press enter, 50, there we go. And as you can see, we now have a weight of 50. So we can actually customize our stroke a bit further. So in order to do that, what we can do is press on the word stroke itself. And as you can see, here we have the weight once again, so we can actually control that. We're going to ignore cap for now. This is because we don't actually have a shape that isn't fully connected. So on our shape, we have a path which is connected on all sides. But if you have a shape which isn't fully connected from each path to each anchor, you can actually control the cap, which is basically the roundness of the stroke. I'm going to quickly skip corner. We'll come back to that. What we need to adjust first is the align stroke. So at the moment it's aligned to the inside of our outline, but what we can do is also center it. So it takes the same amount both on the inside and outside of our path, or we can apply it just to the outside of our path like that. I'm just going to quickly go to the center one that we had here. And this is where we can actually go back to the corner. So as you can see, what we can apply is a round join. So you can see it rounds off the edges of our stroke. It doesn't actually affect the shape itself like what we were doing earlier, but this literally just affects the outline. We've then also got the bevel option, which is this one on the right, and that basically just cuts off those corners. Let's just leave it on the first option for now. What we can also do is turn it into a dashed line. So as you can see, nothing's actually changed at the moment, and this is because we've got to specify how many dashes and gaps we want. So for example, what we can do is a dash of 50 and press enter. And as you can see, we've now got a dash with a gap of 50 pt every time. And this applies to both the amount of dash applied and the amount of dash taken away. If I quickly reopen those options, if I specify the next one to be, for example, 20, As you can see, what it now does is it takes a dash of 50 and then a gap of 20. But if I apply another one, say, let's go for 25, as you can see, what it now does is it varies it even further. So we have 50, 20, 25, and then it goes back to 50 for the gap, and then go to 20 for the dash, and then 25 for the gap again. So it kind of alternates it. So this is an easy way you can actually customize that dash line a bit further. I'm going to turn it off for now because I don't think we need it. It looks a bit odd, and I'm quickly going to close that option. Then the last thing I wanted to cover is the opacity, and this basically refers to the transparency of the shape. So as you can see at the moment, the transparency is 0. We can fully see our shape. But if we actually adjust the opacity, so for example, let's decrease it to 50%. The shape is now 50% transparent, so it will actually blend through to another shape or anything we have in the background. At the moment, obviously just this white artboard. Great, so those were the fundamentals of how you can actually create simple shapes in Adobe Illustrator. If you're interested in a beginner's course to Adobe Photoshop, then do check out the video in the top right hand corner of the end screen. And otherwise, do remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed the content, and do remember to subscribe to the channel to make sure you never miss a new tutorial.